The so-called magic scroll, as the name implies, is a scroll made out of special materials with magic engraved on them. Once the special conditions set by the creator are met, the magic in the scroll will be released instantly. In other words, even if the user does not know magic, as long as he has a magic scroll in his hand, he can use magic. The trigger conditions of the magic scroll are highly dependent on the maker. These trigger conditions can range from ignition, collision, tearing, shouting alakazam, and all kinds of other effects. As for the burst spell, it is a powerful spell known to be among the most powerful of spells in its level. Basically, if something is targeted by that spell, then even if your magic power or battle chi is 2 levels higher than the spell, you still wouldn't be able to defend against it. Advertisements that terrible weapon was in the third master's hands. Ha 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 ha. Accept your demise. The third master laughed 3 times and then threw the scroll in his hands at us. Ah wah 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 wah. This lady doesn't want to die yet. Lilith, quickly think of something. I am only 15 years old and I don't want to die. Carol immediately jumped on me, shivering like a quail and trailing snot all over me. Ha ha ha, tremble. Be afraid. Kneel before me. Squirm more for my amusement. The third master was intoxicated, holding his shoulders like a pervert and twisting his waist. I watched the scroll's magic come closer and closer. My heart was calm and I had no intent to avoid the spell. After all, I have this magic stuff too, and much more of it. Before I left, my mother gave me 2 storage rings, one filled with gold, gems, and a mountain of clothes, and another full of magic scrolls. That's right, completely full. As for the specific number, I didn't bother counting them. I only know that it's enough to make even my demigoddess of a mother put on a weary expression that she tried to conceal as she gave the ring to me. Since I have so many scrolls, there has to be at least one that can block the burst spell. The answer is yes. I fished out a 9th rank Holy Guardian scroll from my ring and called out, "Mama is my favorite." One advertisements, a dazzling white light burst out on the scroll and enveloped me and Carol. Although I couldn't see the expressions of the 2 because of the light, after my shout I felt that the atmosphere became quiet for an instant. Yes, that is the trigger condition set by my mother. Every time I use one of the scrolls, I have to shout that sentence, and as the level of the scrolls increases, so too does the volume I need to shout. So if it's not necessary, I usually refuse to use the scrolls. This is so frigging embarrassing, it's as though I have a severe case of mothercon. But even in such a shameful situation, I give the third master a middle finger, you. As for why I did that, it's because the powerful burst spell has a very obvious flaw, which is causing very few people to use burst magic. And that's boom. With the explosion, the burst magic exploded and the terrifying shock swallowed up everything in the surrounding. Accordingly, the thunderous shout of the 3 unfortunate men momentarily suppressed the rumble of the explosion. The flaw of burst magic is that, because it is so powerful and can't be controlled, it's very common for the spell to accidentally cause friendly fire. Especially in such a narrow area, the explosion won't just hurt teammates, but the blazing air will also bounce back and assault the user. So as soon as I saw the third master pull out the scroll for the burst spell, I had already begun to burn incense for him in my heart. Third master, have a safe trip to the underworld. After all, there are not many silly cute villains like you. You despicable. At this time, the third master's furious yelling was suddenly heard. He's alive? Even after taking that burst spell directly to the face, well I guess he is thick-skinned enough. Advertisements. The light dissipated, revealing the blown-up dilapidated alleys and the trio who were so covered in ash and soot that they looked like Africans. Advertisements. This chapter is provided to you by Relibrary. The fat man and the middle-aged man were lying on the ground, and it was unknown whether they were alive or dead, and the third master was struggling to prop up his upper body. He pointed his trembling, burnt fingers at us. You, despicable child, suddenly using such a dirty trick. What dirty trick? Obviously, you must be mentally retarded. Tui, you are the despicable one. You should have been blown to death after using a terrible thing like burst magic against this lady. I hadn't even gotten a chance to speak up yet, and Carol, who had only moments ago been crying and holding my waist, had quickly run up to the third master and shouted while spitting at him. "Ah, my fingers!" Not only that, but she also stepped on the third master's fingers and laughed excitedly with her arms around her waist. This lady is truly blessed by heaven, even a burst spell is unable to harm me. Is there anything in this world even capable of harming me at all? Ahahahaha. Seriously, this is the kind of girl that will forget the world of pain once her scar is healed.